Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy TGIF. It is time to Star Trek and chill. It's your favorite time of the week, your favorite day of the week, because you get to hang out with us and we get to hang out with you. We're going to talk Star Trek. We're going to chill. There's a little bit of lower decks stuff happening right now. I don't know if you've heard, but it's insane. And we have some rumors coming from the Prodigy rumor mill. WGA supposedly is back to work. So that means the Writers Guild is creating writers' room, or the people in the Writers Guilds are creating writers' rooms to write new episodes and write new movies. Supposedly, right? Lots to talk about. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Look, everybody, Melissa Longo's here, and she's showing Picard's thigh cleavage.
Yay! Yay! Woo! Who made this wonderful shirt?
Well, the fellow that made that amazing Risa and Chill shirt, as well as this Seventh Rule shirt, as well as the shirt he is wearing, is JJ Lendl.
Hello, folks. It's nice to be here.
JJ is an amazing artist, everybody. And if you would like to get the awesome baseball San Francisco Cadets shirt that he's wearing, or the Risa and Chill shirt that Melissa's wearing, they come in all kinds of sizes and colors, and you can get them at the Star Trek and Chill online store at the link in the description box below. This is from the Seventh Rule Teespring store. You can find that wherever you find Seventh Rule videos. But we got the magic man. He put the something in something. It is Andre Kopman.
I woke up like this. Good morning. Good evening.
I was like, wait, am I allowed to say it? But I say it all the time, I think. And everybody, my name is Ryan T. Husk, and I'm very eager to share my Friday evening with all of you. First things first, everybody, let us know in the live chat, where are you calling in from? What are you drinking? Melissa, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking rhubarb and strawberry soda from Trader Jose's.
Yum.
Oh. Rhubarb and strawberry. That sounds like pie.
So good. It's like pie in a beverage with bubbles.
Sound good. Carbonated pie.
What about you, JJ? JJ, you seem like apple pie is your favorite.
I do like apple pie. My favorite pie is pizza pie. So
I guess I could have guessed that.
What
are you drinking, JJ?
Good answer.
Appetizer. I would eat it for every meal. Yes. But I'm not drinking pizza. I've got my Tony the Tiger mug here, which is filled with milk tea. So it's great.
Nice.
They're great. That was pretty good, I think.
It's fun. A guy I went to school. Just real fast. A guy I went to school with. He lives out in LA, and one of the first gigs he got out there was to do the motion capture for Tony the Tiger in a commercial. So I know Tony the Tiger. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
Nice.
It's actually pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
He could have been lying. No way for him to prove it, but why make it up?
Could have been lying, but was a tiger.
That's good night, everybody.
It's officially Friday.
Yeah. Andre, what are you drinking? And if you were to do mocap for some kind of feline, what feline would that be?
That's a loaded question. I replicated me some green tea, so just some delicious green tea from my Keurig, and I don't know. I guess Dr. Tahana would be the one that I would mocap for feline. There you go.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
my
here's
favorite.
what you guys, I felt like I needed a pick me up. So I was like, today is the right day for a pina colada. Naked juice.
That sounds delicious.
Nice. Numb.
Like
I
getting
think it is
caught in
going to
the
be.
rain. Yes.
It is.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Good flavor. That's very good. Oh, here's a joke, everybody. So there was a this Australian guy who joins the military, the American military, that is. And then he asked the sergeant, he's like, should we go out and fight? And then the sergeant says, what, did you come here to die? He says, no, I came here yesterday. Anyway.
Oh.
Man, that is that's funny.
Nice.
Amazing.
I love how he only has the accent in the punchline. That's my favorite part of the joke.
And it landed.
And barely that too.
Barely.
That reminds me of a really terrible joke. Should I tell it or save it till the end? So people have...
Tell it. I want to hear it.
So there's this guy that was in the Navy and he was working on an aircraft carrier, and his sergeant or general or whatever they have, captain, goes, oh man, I just got this. What do they have? Telegrams, letters, email? I don't know. He says, oh, darn it. Private Abernathy's mom just died. Oh man, and I got to tell him. How am I going to tell? Oh, geez. So he doesn't know how to tell him. He's like really stressing out. And finally he figures it out. And, you know, it's like they're having their morning roll call and they're all standing out on the deck of the aircraft carrier. And he's like, all right, everybody fall in line. And they all get in line. And he's like, all right, everybody whose mom is still alive, step forward. Not so fast, Abernathy.
Wow.
Okay, we get the jokes are just getting worse by the second. I don't even know if that is funny.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yes. That's why it's funny.
I just like the name Abernathy.
Yes.
Not so fast, Abernathy.
So let's
yeah.
Yeah.
So the live chat is tearing me up right now. Hello, Linda Anderegg. Hello, Peter C. J.R. Poole, Dave Gregory, Lucia, Chuck, Glenn, War Dogheim. He'll tell us if that's an accurate depiction of the military. Phil, Faith, Jet Screamer, pretty cool name. And all of y'all, thanks for hanging out with us. Fran Iverson.
Oh, be nice, be nice. Glenn Iverson said in the court of public opinion, Ryan is about to be court-martialed.
Court-martialed. War Dogheim says, oh my, I just got to the Aussie joke. Oh, I thought he said I just got the Aussie joke. Like it took him a while. It like had to travel halfway around the world for him to get it. Okay. Oh, what's up, Rico E. Anderson? Let's talk about Star Trek, everybody. So Lower Decks is the biggest news of the week because they're doing a two-parter season finale for season 4. Andre, you've seen it, right? Okay.
Yeah, episode 9, I've seen it. Yep.
So everybody, don't worry. We're not going to throw any spoilers at you. We're not going to be reviewing that. But I think it's really cool that they're doing a two-part season finale, presumably meaning that they're not going to do a best of both worlds thing or a Strange New Worlds thing where it's a two-parter bridging 2 seasons and we have to wait until like 2030 to see the second half. But JJ, you like Star Trek. What have you thought so far of season 4?
I'm a fan of the franchise so far. You know, getting close to 60 years. I think they're doing okay. I love Lower Decks, and I think that it's a miraculous show that manages to strike its own unique tone while sort of bridging the gap between that kind of mayhem animated comedy and the world of Star Trek that we know. And I thought this first part of the two-parter was a really great example of it without giving anything away. I think they're really good at towing the line between comedy and drama with injecting pathos into ridiculous situations that really bring you into the plot and the characters, and the way that they can lovingly poke fun at some of the franchise, but then also pull out plot strands from various shows and eras and blend them so well into a riveting plot. I thought that this episode was a really great example of how the show does all that really well.
What about you, Andre Cotman? Now, you like to laugh. You like things like BoJack Horseman. You like the animated stuff. So I think you went into watching Lower Decks a lot less skeptically than some of us may have. A lot of people are like, animated Star Trek, jokey stuff. That sounds weird. But I have a feeling you were like, yes, give it to me. Just give it all to me.
All of it. Yes. I think you nailed it. I was really excited to see this animated side of Star Trek. And when they said Mike McMahon was a part of or going to be running it, and he had done previous work on Rick and Morty, I was like, oh, he's going to get funny. He's going to pull all the weird, obscure things that are in Star Trek and really make them like relevant and really funny. And that's what they've done, in my opinion. Like, there isn't an episode where I haven't just bursted out laughing. And in this last one, I don't think we're spoiling, but there was a moment where Captain went back to a 60s call out, and I laughed so hard in that last episode. I think he's just written a love letter to Star Trek. I mean, all those beautiful Easter eggs and obscure things that needed follow-ups, like I'm seeing them pulled in so masterfully, and I got a little bit misty-eyed. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's somebody who really loves the show, and I'm really enjoying what he's doing with it.
Do you guys remember if we had a two-parter in the final episodes of the previous seasons? I don't recall. I don't think so,
I don't
though.
believe so. Not in seasons 1 and 2, because they
3
were.
There was.
Oh, 3 there was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It was the race with the starship, and then
right.
And then I think, and it was like the captain trying to save the California class. And then it kind of has the penultimate episode. And then they have the final episode where all the California class show up. So it was like a two-parter. And this season is doing the same thing. Like, they build it in season, and the penultimate episode, and then the last episode, I think it's going to resolve. I like it.
I feel like with streamers, there's more pressure to wrap up a season. As opposed to doing a cliffhanger, just because of you're not guaranteed another season necessarily. Right. And so the last thing you want to do is like leave things too open-ended. At least that's what I've been noticing.
Yep.
What do you think, Melissa Longo? See, I didn't remember that too. I remember that was one of the best moments in all of new Star Trek, when all the California class ships came and I never expected like such a moving and exciting moment to come from an animated show. I just thought that it was gonna be a fun show that would make me laugh and have all of these, references to previous Star Trek. But man, that really was a great moment when Boimler was reading or was saying all those, it's the Fresno, it's the Fremont, it's the Bakersfield, it's the Tahunga. I don't remember what he was saying.
The Burbank. Yep.
Was there a Burbank?
Vacaville.
There was, yeah.
Vacaville. That just means Cowtown, right? But it's a place.
So fun.
It's near the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Melissa, did you know every city that Boimler mentioned? I think I recognized all of them. But I'm a native Californian.
I'm a transplant.
I knew enough to get the joke, and the rest of
it. Yeah. But what do you think overall, Melissa?
I think overall, I really love the writing on this show and how the Easter eggs don't feel like fan service. It feels like it's part of the storytelling, and it's part of it is fan service, but it also immerses us, or the viewer, or at least me, in the universe of the Star Trek that we know and we've already invested so much of our time and imagination into. So I think Mike McMahon is really smart in how he approaches it. And every cameo that we've seen, every callback is just it's heartwarming because, you know, when you see Rom and Lita again and you're seeing old friends and Quark and Kira and you know, Riker and Troy, and you're seeing old friends again. So it's great, and I think he's doing a great job, and I enjoy the perspective that they're approaching this show in, because it is a different perspective. It is a different way of storytelling, and I think it works.
I have found
absolutely
the list. I found the list of the California class starships.
Yay!
I knew it was on the memory alpha.
Actually, you know what? I think this is important here. I think we're going to have, we're going to have a poll to decide who has to read them off as quickly as possible.
Oh my god!
Oh no, the pressure's on.
I'm pulling up the list now.
Wait.
Melissa, you were right though. Like the nostalgia, like all those special moments and the closeness, like it's amazing to see like everything come together.
Well, and it adds continuity to the Star Trek universe. It just makes it builds a through line to connect every single series, which is wonderful. I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent it's a Star Trek series about Star Trek fans that just exist in the world of Star Trek, which I think, you know, immediately you feel a kinship with these characters because it's like they've seen all the shows already, the way that they talk about it, except for them it's just you know, the culture of their era, you know, these heroes past and present, and we, you know, we don't live in late, you know, 24th century Starfleet, but we get all the references.
Yeah, and they're
like
fans
these old scientists.
They're fans of our Trek heroes too. They're just as you know, giddy about them as we are.
Yes.
So we've got a poll in the live chat right now. Who will read all the Cali class ships as quickly as humanly possible? JJ, Melissa, Andre, or Ryan? You know, I can make a case for everybody. Personally, I want to see Melissa because there's no way she's going to say it without giggling. I think she's gonna laugh her way through it, and that's gonna be a good time had by everybody. But at the same time, some people might want to see Andre do it because they know he is like the biggest ship nerd ever. He'll be able to picture all of the ships as he reads them. And JJ, maybe I don't know. JJ, there's
no real reason for me to do it, folks. Just
I know. Maybe because he doesn't want to do it.
That might be the pick.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll let people vote on this. The vote is going well so far, and we'll be doing that in just a minute. All right, let's close this out here. Let's give people a few more seconds to vote for JJ and have him win.
It's definitely going to be Ryan now. It's got to be Ryan.
No. Yeah, notice I didn't make a pitch for me at all.
Oh, that's strange.
Well, because I'd nail it. That's not funny.
Everybody would be so impressed that it would have to end. How are you going to top it?
All right. So here are the results. 15% said Ryan. 23% said JJ. 26% said Andre. And 34% said Melissa Longo. It's time to play the feud, or whatever would be the thing to say here. So I'm going to copy these and put them in our Zoom chat.
Yay.
I picked JJ.
I didn't pick anybody.
I didn't. I didn't vote either. I should.
I couldn't.
There they are, Melissa.
Oh,
got
gosh.
You got this.
All right.
If you need to, you can do it to a melody. You could do it to like Billy Joel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We didn't start the fire.
There you
All
go.
right, here we go. In 5, 4, 1 take, 3, 2.
Oakland, Alhambra, San Diego, San Clemente, Sherman Oaks, Vacaville, Burbank, Fresno, Santa Monica, San Jose, Sacramento, Culver City, Anaheim, Riverside, Vallejo, West Covina, Pacific Palisades, Redding, Eureka, Mount Shasta. I don't know what that is. I don't know what.
It must be Rubidoux.
Mercedes? I don't know. Carlsbad and Inglewood.
Mercedes.
So here are the cities. Now, everybody in the live chat, especially those that live or have visited California, I'm going to name all of these cities and you say how many you don't know, because there are like 24, 23 of these. Which ones do you not know? There's Oakland, Alhambra, San Diego, San Clemente, Sherman Oaks, Vacaville, Burbank, Fresno, Santa Monica, San Jose, that's where I'm from, Sacramento, Culver City. Ooh, they got bad sushi there. Anaheim, they were seriously, Riverside, Vallejo, West Covina, Pacific Palisades, Redding, Eureka, Mount Shasta, those are all kind of near each other, Merced, Carlsbad, and Inglewood. How many do you not know anyway?
Alhambra and Mercedes now.
Alhambra is actually down here in Southern California. It's just east of us, maybe an hour, maybe less. And Merced is California's Central Valley, just north of us, a couple hours.
Now you said Vallejo?
Yeah, Vallejo is in the North Bay of the Bay Area.
Okay, because I said it Vallejo, the way Spanish people would say it.
The way it probably should be pronounced, but that's just the locals call it Vallejo.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway.
I'd never heard of Vallejo. I thought maybe they were trying to spice up the valley.
I have relatives that live there.
USS The Valley.
Really? How do they like it, Andre? Because I went there when I was a little kid because there was like a Marine World kind of thing opening there.
Ooh.
It's kind of like the Cerritos of the north of California would be the closest analogy to it.
Faith Howell says Merced is very small and her dad was born there.
Whoa.
Huh.
Small universe.
What are the chances? Glenn Iverson says, was there a Solvang mentioned? Not in this list, but it does sound familiar in a previous episode. Solvang is a beautiful little Danish town. It's a Danish town about an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes northwest of Los Angeles. And it's basically one street and, of like bakeries and pizza places and stuff. And then like houses. And it's really cute. It's nestled in some wine country. It's nearby Neverland Ranch. Michael Jackson's thing was in Los Olivos nearby. Anyway.
There's no USS
that.
I've driven past Los Olivos. Actually, I've been to a coffee shop in Los Olivos. It's a cute little town.
Solvang has amazing wineries and lots of good food. Like I spent the whole day there. It's so much fun to just go there and get day drunk off of wine. Really good wine. There's that.
Anyway, so I don't want to get too lost.
Like a travel challenge for Trek fans, where you have to visit all of the California class.
I like that.
Great.
Yes.
I
You can
would
make
do
little
that.
travel
Fun.
books. You have to get stamps with the registry numbers of each ship.
Oh, this
I think
sounds like
CBS
a
Viacom should
perk
really
for
look into
something.
this
I'd
as
do
a
it.
possible, tourist tie-in for
That'd be
the.
great.
Crowdfunding.
I mean,
Mhm.
Sherman Oaks is like a mile from me.
Mhm.
So a lot of these, I'm like, we could just knock those out super quick. A couple of those. But yes, actually, great
Yeah, road
knowledge
trip.
by
Yeah.
Yeah,
great
totally.
knowledge by Rico E.
Yep.
Anderson. He says it was Marine World, Africa, USA, and Vallejo. He knows he's also a Bay Area kid himself. Dave Gregory says, and this, I remember hearing this. This is true. He says Tawny Newsome is from Vacaville.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
I have
Very
a friend
cool there.
who lives
It's my
in
favorite. I love
Vacaville.
her.
Mhm.
Nice.
I could talk about California cities all day, but I bet our numbers would plummet.
Oh.
You know,
JJ
you knew every single one
JJ
of
would
those,
be
didn't
like,
you?
I did. I actually,
Yeah.
I did. I knew every one of them. I like every one that I would read, I could like point. I'm like, oh, that's over there. That's over there. You could kind of picture them. But that's because I lived in the Bay Area, kind of Northern California. Now I live in Southern California. So
So you've got that whole Zelda map filled in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are the
Awesome.
3 cities that are really north, like Mount Shasta and Eureka. And what was the other one? Redding. Yeah, Redding's way up Northern California.
Nice.
And so is
Oh.
Eureka.
It's Rubidoux.
As soon as they launch the Southwest Pennsylvania class ship, I'm going to give you USS Monroeville, USS Penn Hills.
Penn Hills and Monroeville. Those
How
sound
about
amazing.
Hershey? Hershey would be a good ship.
You're
Um,
way too far east. That's a whole other class of ship.
Yeah, come on, Melissa, grow up. Jeez, everybody knows
I want a
Hershey
chocolate
is
ship.
nowhere near.
I like chocolate though. Hershey is fun. There's the Hershey factory out there, and they actually have an amusement park.
Yes,
Right
they
next to the
do.
factory. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our
and
good
driving
buddy
past smells good.
Oh yeah. Our good buddy in the live chat, JR Poole, I believe, is from your neighborhood or nearby, JJ. He's in the
USS Mount
Pittsburgh area.
Washington. I grew up in Beachview, which is butting up just about right next to Mount Washington in the great city of Pittsburgh.
You guys have beaches?
Beach is in BEECH for beech trees.
Oh, got it.
No
Okay.
beach in Pittsburgh, just rivers.
Mhm. 3 of them I
Don't like it.
heard.
Well, speaking of numbers, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully they hit the like button before we went off on this California class tangent. Otherwise, right now they'll be
but
like,
it's fun.
I'm gonna wait and decide if you get a like or a dislike. But
Like,
hopefully they
unlike-
already liked it.
Lucy wants Brazil ships, please. USS Sao Paulo.
Yeah,
There's the Sao Paulo. Yep.
they mentioned Arubidoux too, right? And that one's east nearby Riverside. You got
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But there have been others. I feel like there were others that this article didn't cover because it said there were about 30 ships, but this only had like 23 names. Rubidoux, I've definitely heard Rubidoux mentioned.
I
there
think
it is.
I think that one was from maybe a later episode, and the captain from one of the other ships took command of a new ship. I could be wrong about that, but
No,
more
this
California
actually,
class ships after.
this article does continue. Actually, I should pull it up from slashfilm.com. This article does continue to say past episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks have mentioned a handful of these ships before, in addition to the USS Rubidoux and the USS Solvang.
Yeah,
So those of you that mentioned Rubidoux and Solvang nailed it, because that wasn't in that original list up here. But you remembered it.
But we should make her do it again, but with those right. Melissa, you should probably do a second take, right?
Especially the way Rubidoux is spelled. She would have butchered it.
Oh, Rubidoux, I would have gotten, I think.
That ship was
Mercedes?
destroyed.
No.
Right? That was destroyed? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hmm.
It was something about one of the ships being destroyed, and then I think we see the captain with a new command later.
think she got I want to say she got the Solvang, and that was also destroyed. She had really bad luck. Like her first creature,
Oh,
the first one was destroyed by a creature. And then she got the second ship and she made everyone not wear shoes. And I laughed hysterically because she was like, don't wear shoes on the carpet. And and she had plastic on the panels, and then the ship gets destroyed again. Yep.
I love
Was
it.
this Freeman?
No, this was Captain what is her name? Dayton?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ohio.
right.
oh, close to my
The Ohio
grandparents.
class. Wait,
Or
we're
my
getting
grandma.
Wow, that is some
Great.
good knowledge there, guys.
Memory Alpha's on it. I pulled up the USS Ruby. I was like, oh yeah, that's the ship. Because I remember yeah, JJ, I'd remember that. I was like, which ship was that? Because I think one of them
Right.
got bodied and that was it. Yep.
And I'm not, I don't know all the, like, I couldn't name every starship class and registry number, but if it's connected to an event, I sometimes I'll sometimes I can pull something out, but I couldn't remember the names.
Yeah. I was trying to remember one right now, but I was like, that's going to take us off in a completely different tangent as well. Well, any final thoughts on Star Trek Lower Decks? Because I really enjoyed this season so far, and a lot of people are saying this is the best season of all. But I wonder, do we just always say that when we're watching a certain season? Do we just always say, this is the best season ever?
Because it's fresh.
Just like we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Maybe. I don't think I've ever watched an episode of Lower Decks and the credits have rolled and I've said, oh, I was disappointed in that episode. I just don't think that's ever happened. So I think it's pretty great that not every Star Trek show can start its run knowing exactly what it is and what it wants to be. But I feel like Lower Decks has had that figured out from the get-go, which is nice. It's nice when a show doesn't have to take a couple of seasons to find its footing.
Yeah.
So we've been there before with
yeah. I think
you
you
guys
hit the nail on the head when you said it knew what it was as soon as it got off the ground.
Yeah, and I think that I think the reason it's only gotten better is because it hasn't strayed from that. And I think it's just kept building on that and doing it well. Yeah. So yeah, that's great.
You guys notice too, they're getting harder missions. Like since they've been promoted, they're getting more response. There's such good continuity in this show, and I really appreciate the continuity and attention to detail. Yeah.
Yeah, the growth feels natural.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of expected them to get demoted again. Like at the Tom Paris treatment, where they would get demoted, or then when Rutherford didn't initially get promoted, I just kind of thought that there was going to be some staggering, like some would get promoted and others wouldn't, and then but then then he got promoted later on, and so I guess they're just going to keep rising together, and until Mariner is captain, Boimler is first officer, Rutherford is chief engineer, and Tendi, is she doctor or
Medical.
chief science officer? Probably science.
Probably science.
She's in science now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good crew.
But maybe that's why we haven't seen Jennifer much this season. Did she get promoted?
I don't know. I thought she might have been reassigned because we haven't seen her at all, right? That was the Andorian, right?
I'm trying to think if she's even been in the background. I feel like I did see her once in the background, but not this season. We've seen a lot of the Kazenti, which I've loved, but not Jennifer.
Okay. Oh, goodness, you guys. So Halloween is coming just around the corner. And Halloween, the first thing people think when they think Halloween is Star Trek. So, because it's kind of what we just think about when anybody mentions anything. We go, that's just like that Star Trek episode. And then, so check this out. This is an article from, it's dangerous, Giant Freaking Robot. And they say Star Trek episodes perfect for Halloween. Now, this, I recognize this right away. That has got to be, what was that episode called? It was 7th season, Genesis. Yeah, Genesis. And so I guess they're going to name episodes that are good for Halloween. One is Mirror Mirror from Star Trek, the original series. Melissa, you were saying you didn't quite agree with this list,
well,
right?
I feel like it was incomplete. It's just a very small list, and there are a couple of episodes that a lot of episodes that have been left out. So I thought it might be fun to name which ones that we think were left out. Although that picture was very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We've also got, here's the next one. Check this out. I mean, they've got to mention Empok Nor, right? We've got
That's
Whispers from
that's
Star
a
Trek
creepy
Deep
one.
Space Nine,
Yeah.
season 2, episode 14. How
They
many of them are there?
mention
what?
Empok Nor, which is why I was like, what are you doing? They don't mention the one where with the clowns and Voyager. They don't.
We've got Course Oblivion from Star Trek Voyager season 5, episode 18. I don't remember this happening to Janeway where she looked like the Toxic Avenger. Right? Wasn't that
Toxic Avenger crossover episode?
Toxic Avenger. No.
Was that the one where the ship was they were all liquid and they were like melting? But I don't know. I don't remember that one. Course Oblivion.
The last one, they're already on the last one, is Vanishing Point, Star Trek Enterprise.
No Cat's Paw.
I know.
Cat's Paw's classic.
Like, this list is really incomplete. I would have definitely put Empok Nor on there.
Yeah,
first.
Creepy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Voyager Clown episode 2, that creeped me out when I first saw it years ago. Yeah.
And the one where Riker gets abducted and he's got that thing burrowing into his head.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in the mental institution. Yeah.
Oh.
Or that one too.
That one too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frame of Mind.
Frame of Mind, yeah. Good knowledge.
What's the other one? Schisms? Is that
Schisms? Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Schisms.
Yeah, that's a creepy one. A lot of creepy Riker episodes. There was...
Yeah, creepy Riker is definitely a thing.
Creepy Riker.
Creepy Riker episodes. People in the live chat, let us know what are we missing here. The Haunting of Deck 12, Faith Howell says.
Ooh.
Cat's Paw, John Davis says. Chuck A says, of course. He says Dr. Empok Nor. That's a Muhammad joke. The Thaw.
The Thaw, yeah.
Is that the clown one?
Yes. I think that's the clown one.
I always thought that one was called Fear.
Let me double check.
But I think it's the Thaw. The click. What about when we first meet species 8472? That was kind of creepy.
Scorpion.
Yeah,
I think so.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clown one is the Thaw.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the anime? Is it BEM, the animated series episode when they meet Lucifer? Or is that a different? What's the name of that one?
BEM is definitely the one where there's that alien that splits into 3 pieces.
Andronian. Yeah.
But I don't remember if that's the same episode as.
It's
I like the episode where they meet like 4 or 5 different aliens on a different kind of aliens on a planet. There's like the bird guy, there's the bug guy.
Oh.
That's a good Halloween episode because that would be an amazing Halloween crew. Can you imagine if somebody's the bug guy, somebody is, the bird guy, somebody's, whatever they had, Hawk Boy. I don't know. I don't remember. But
it's the Magics of Mingus 2. Is the Lucifer one. I had to get that out.
Wow,
but
good knowledge.
I like that episode. It was really good.
Yeah, it's fun. Kind of reminds me of the TNG episode that also supposedly features the devil. And what's the name of that one? Where
With Audra, I loved her. Oh my god.
Yes. What's the name of the episode where Picard has to prove that she's not Lucifer?
Yeah,
So she doesn't take control of the planet.
It's on the tip
Devil's
of
Due.
my.
Devil's Due.
Devil's Due.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good
amazing.
one. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
There's another episode called Night Terrors in The Next Generation where
yes.
Troy has those nightmares and the ship is trapped and it's draining energy, and they beam on board I think it was the Britannia, and they find the captain with like a knife in her chest, and the whole crew's murdered each other. I was creeped out watching that. Yeah.
One of my favorite genre of Trek episodes, beam over to the other ship, which is a redress of the bridge, and everyone's dead. It's like,
Yep.
Well, also the zombie Vulcan episode on Enterprise.
Yeah, it's another one.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but
I think that was it, just called Zombie Vulcan episode.
the zombie Vulcan episode.
What was the episode in season 1 with Commander Remick and the creature, and then he has all the parasites? I think that's the penultimate Star Trek episode.
Conspiracy?
Yes. When they're eating bugs. I mean, if you want to be creeped out, just watch that episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's great.
Then watch Scanners, the David Cronenberg film. If you want to see more heads.
Nice. Really? Nice.
Spoilers for Scanners, guys. It happens in like the first 10 minutes. It's not
yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out. Somebody in the live chat, let us know, what is the animated series episode that had the bug guy and the bird guy and all those different fellas? I've only seen the animated series once, so forgive me that I'm calling them bird guy and bug guy, but that's what
they try to get these costumes together in time for Halloween.
Yeah. We got time.
Get them pitch perfect, and everyone's like, I don't know what that's from. And you can just be like, I don't know the name of the episode either, but the costumes are pitch perfect.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that as far as costuming and fun role playing, Captain Proton could be fun for Halloween. And all of that story stuff.
That could be cool. If you could do your costume in grayscale.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the power of grayscale.
Nice.
You're the king.
Let's see. Is somebody okay? Glenn Iverson says it might be the Jihad. I think it might be too. Let's check.
I think that might be right.
I definitely need to specify Star Trek the animated series when I'm Googling the Jihad. To add that into yeah, something. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely the one. Good knowledge, Glenn Iverson.
Oh,
thank you for that. Let me pull up a good picture for everybody to see. Yeah, see, I knew there was like a lady that looked like a caveman woman or something like that. So here it is. We've got Spock and Kirk. We've got this bird guy. I forgot what this guy is called, but there's two kinds of bird people, and they're based on whether they have hair on their body. There's bug guy getting carried by lizard guy, and then there's cave woman.
So we know bug guy, those species, we saw them as bouncers. I think it was in season 2 at one of the distant Federation starbase. It was so funny seeing them as bouncers in that club that only like exclusive Starfleet officers got in. So funny.
Was that Lower Decks?
Yeah. That was Lower Decks. Yeah, they were all bouncers. Yeah.
Very good. This lizard guy reminds me of the 1970s action figure for the Gorn that didn't quite look like a Gorn. You guys remember the old Mego toys? I don't know if anyone in the chat knows the old 70s Mego toys. They were kind of like 8-inch. They were almost like dolls because they had cloth outfits, and they made a bunch for Star Trek in the 70s, and a lot of the designs were a little off to what the on-screen looks were. So they're fun little
toys were always terrible about that back in the day, weren't they?
Yeah, because you couldn't rewatch the episode, so you're just going by memory.
Right.
You're like, I guess that's what it like. Okay.
There's a 7th guy here that looks like a white wolf in a pink jumpsuit bikini.
It's nice.
They were super advanced too. I remember that episode. They were the most, I think, powerful ones that Kirk had to deal with. It's pretty cool mythology in that episode.
So
Look
basically,
at that power stance by the cave girl.
Yeah.
Look how she's sitting.
yeah, she's
I'm
cave
sitting here,
spreading.
and no one else will be sitting here.
She
Yeah,
was the one in charge, wasn't she? I thought she was the one in charge.
She's cave
Must
spreading
be.
for sure. So look, so when we build our crew, I'm going to be Spock. Melissa, you could be cave spreader.
Okay.
What do you guys want? Which one do you
I'll be Score Dude. The Score, the
Score's
bird.
the bird, right? Two
Yeah.
Rs. Yeah.
I just want to be
Score.
Kirk with the big white backpack that he's wearing in the other shot. I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right.
But you
Keeping
know
my
what?
posture, big white backpack.
So what that
Get it or you don't.
now we need somebody in the live chat to volunteer to be lizard face or bug guy or wolf dude. Wolf dude in
Somebody do the wolf dude in the bikini.
the pink yoga
Nice.
bikini.
Love it.
Wolf
That
Dude was
circle
female, I think.
picture.
Yep.
Oh, and that circle picture reminded me for some reason of the Zindi and the Zindi Council. You know, with all of those different aliens.
They need a follow up. Yep.
Yep.
They were interesting. I would love to see
Mhm.
them come back somehow on Lower Decks. Like, I really think they need a follow up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So in the live chat, Glenn Iverson and Dave Gregory have both volunteered to be Wolf Dude. So that's great. We got that covered.
Right?
One could be the other guy's stunt double. But the way he's like long and lanky, wouldn't it be cool? Doug Jones might be a
Yes.
great guy to do that. We should figure
Mhm.
out like certain actors that would be great for those roles. You know, like Doug Jones would be great for the long and lanky. Then the little bug guy. Let's get Zachary Quinto. Fuck him. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. I didn't. When I signed on to be here, I didn't know that we'd be so anti-Quinto.
Yeah, you knew what you were getting into. Every week we get into it with Quinto. He's always
Rip your
tweeting at
shirt.
us. He's like saying we're not a real show, and we're like, when you pretended to be mad in the 2009 movie, I didn't even buy it. I knew you weren't really mad. You were just acting. And he's all like, he gets pissed.
That's my job.
Call me Zach. Let's be friends. Let's hang out.
That's great. Oh, some people remember the Mego. They remember the Mego figures. That's good.
Wow.
They did not
That's
make that up.
awesome.
Wow.
Okay. So did we ever see a Xindi female? A Xindi female, the Trek reviewer asks. I don't think so. Maybe the whales.
Hmm.
We don't know. Maybe the dead avians.
We'll see in the next 60 years. Who knows? Of Star Trek.
So
Yeah,
here's a
May
Sorry, go ahead.
Barello says Danny DeVito.
There you go.
yeah.
As the bouncer.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Nice.
great.
Bug guy.
That would
Yeah.
work.
Right.
There were no Xindi females. I just Googled it. Their Wikipedia, like the Memory Alpha doesn't have one. So that's an astute observation. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So here's something interesting. Here's a nice article from our good friend John Orchiola at screenrant.com. He writes an article entitled Whoopi Goldberg wants Worf's job in Star Trek The Next Generation, says executive producer, or wanted Worf's job, I should say. That's a surprising turn of events.
Wow.
So here's the quote. This is from Rick Berman. In the oral history of the center seat, 55 Years of Star Trek, by Peter Holmstrom. That's our good buddy, Peter Holmstrom, one of the inglorious Treksperts of the Treksperts Briefing Room, I believe is his podcast with Lisa Klink. The quote is, when Denise decided to leave the show, we got a call from Whoopi Goldberg saying she wanted to be considered to take Denise's role of head of security. But Whoopi wasn't really the head of security type for us. Gene and I sat down and discussed it. What a great idea to have a bartender, to build a bar where people could socialize, and who better than Whoopi to play bartender, who had some kind of strange, never quite explained past relationship with Picard. So my first thought upon reading that is, yeah, good move. But
yeah,
that's because I'm used to seeing her as Guinan. I'm used to seeing that wisdom and her saying, I listen and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that's kind of coloring, my interpretation of it, because you can have a chief of security that's not necessarily going to run around and do cartwheels and karate kicks. She could just be ship security. And then when they need somebody for away missions, Worf goes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He could be like, he could be the second in charge. He could be the hired muscle. She could be the tactical officer, and he's the security officer, or something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it was the right move, personally, because she fills that role of Guinan so beautifully. I wouldn't want her to be anybody else, because, yeah, Worf is great as security officer because he brings something different to the role. He feels like it's a perfect fit for him, actually, but in the same way that Guinan is wise and really the brains of the whole ship, as far as I don't know, bestowing advice on people and how to look at life, and giving an objective perspective to the people that she's counseling. So I think Whoopi did a great job in that role.
It's called the Objective Perspective Directive, right? That's what do you guys think?
I don't know. You go ahead.
Oh, cool. So like, picture Whoopi Goldberg, right? Picture her just being amazing in the role she's in. And then picture her wearing a gold uniform and then getting killed by Armus like Tasha Yar. That's why that wouldn't work. I would be traumatized. Like this, I wouldn't want to see her shot at and other stuff, and then just like fighting Armus, and she'd be like on the surface like, don't do that, Armus, or saying it in like a Whoopi Goldberg way. I'm glad they put her in the role that they did, because I don't think security would have worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the other side.
Ooh, here we go.
Do it.
Do it. Fireworks.
I think that casting could work. I think that I think they probably made the right decision, but probably for the wrong reason. Because some of the wording there is like, not the secure, not our type. And like, I'm not quite sure what that means, but
yeah,
I think that Whoopi Goldberg is an incredibly talented actress that could play that kind of character. She may have played it different than Denise's character. I mean, again, I think we're all sitting here like Guinan as chief of security.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it would have been a completely different character, I would imagine. And I think Whoopi's really good at, as great as she is playing characters that are really sort of out there and enthusiastic, and like, look at her in a movie like Ghost, and she's just sort of like energy. She can also really play that strong, sort of quiet, sort of like Godfather type, like doesn't say much, but exudes a lot of presence and power. So that being said, I'm glad that she was Guinan, because for no other reason, it allowed Michael Dorn's character to evolve much past beyond the first season, because you give him more of a role in the show. You get him more involved in the action of the show. And without Michael Dorn and Worf evolving, I don't think that the Klingon mythology evolves in Star Trek The Next Generation. So all those wonderful things that came out of Worf becoming head of security would have been lost. But again, if we have access to the multiverse and seeing what these other iterations of the show might have looked like, I think that it would be interesting to see. So I think they probably made the right choice, but just the wording there, it just seemed a little bit thinking inside the box. You know what I mean? Because I think Whoopi Goldberg type could be the head of security on a Starfleet vessel. I think in the future, anybody can do anything if they work hard enough. And
you're right.
Having seen her in Jumping Jack Flash, I think that she did a really good job at being a kind of a detective type thing. She was quirky, and she's not the typical action hero, but she was definitely the hero of that movie, and it was fun. It was fun to see her figure things out in that way. But
and let's be honest, Worf is not like the best chief of security in Star Trek.
Hey, easy.
Oh, that's another can of worms.
What?
He's got a lot of problem opening doors. Always got to bring Data over to open them for him.
He always is the first to get knocked down in a fight too. Whenever they want to show how tough an alien is, they're like, Worf's like, "I'll get him," and he runs over and he flies back to the other side of the bridge real quick, and then they're like, "Whoa, these aliens are tough." Yeah.
So there's a clip on YouTube that shows all the times Worf was right and no one listened to him. And like Worf would say, like, "No, we should raise shields here," and they'd be like, "No, Worf, they're our allies. We should trust them." And he's like, "Trust is earned," and then they end up shooting at the Enterprise. It's so funny. I'll send it to you guys afterwards. There's literally links where like they just didn't listen to Worf. And I'm sorry, his wig was so bad all those years. They needed to pull that hair back or something. They didn't do him justice with that big wig. That's
they should have given him. They should have given him the Guinan hat. That's
yes.
That should have been
the warrior's hat.
Then that becomes the traditional Klingon hat, and all the Klingons start wearing
from
them.
here on out. Yep,
his hair would just go everywhere. Every time they knocked him down, it was distracting.
Q would come on the bridge and be like, taking off his shoes and earrings. He's like, "All right, I'm coming at you."
Amazing.
Yeah, but there is
his head bigger.
It gets bigger every season. Like,
it got bigger every season. It did not help his forehead. They did not do him justice.
Or maybe he could just turn it into like the separation of the saucer section. It like comes off.
Geordi's helping him work on the tech.
Yeah, it's like a weapon.
Yeah.
This is
he had the largest forehead of all the Klingons on screen every season. It was there.
Poor guy.
I'm sorry.
Seventh Rule just reviewed the Packlid episode on TNG, and that was a prime example of when they didn't listen to Worf. It's a you're gonna send our chief engineer over.
Yep.
Engineer.
They never know nothing about them, and they're like, "Yes, Mr. Wolf, we know you're a chicken."
Right.
I am not a chicken. I just do not trust them. Anyway, I think that another thing that I was thinking though wasn't Whoopi only available for some of the episodes?
Right.
Now, I don't know if that was availability or if that was just their choice that they didn't want to bring her on as a regular, but more of a recurring. But if she was only available as recurring, then she couldn't be chief of security, but she could be something in that realm. Like she could be a strategic operations officer or a tactical, or, like episodes that needed extra people or like some diplomatic mission and things like that. They could have used her in that vein.
But we didn't have a security chief in the original series. Or if
Chekhov kind of did it. Chekhov was the chief of security, but that demonstrates that you don't need to be.
Not until later, though. He was an ensign at that point. It was just sort of like, we need security down here, and here are 3 random extras wearing red that are not going to make it to next week. But there didn't seem, and maybe that's why there were so many fatalities. There wasn't someone running that department on their own.
There's a lot of fatalities. Yeah.
I just posted the clip in the channel where they just shoot down Worf left and right.
Oh, nice.
But the Pac-Led episode is the best example. I love that you brought that up.
Samaritan Snare.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was like, "What do you?" But seriously, guys, like we don't know anything about them, and they're like, "Oh, whatever." Worf's always grumpy. Yeah, don't listen. He's always.
and I was like,
this.
You know, you enjoy watching something when you talk to the television, and I do that. But in that moment, I was like, you gotta listen to Worf. You're
Right.
Same.
Same.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh,
All right,
Richard
I'll lay off
Mall.
Worf. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
No,
He's
it was
gonna
good.
get laid
I'm
off.
glad you
Yeah.
brought that up. And you're right
Yeah.
about Whoopi too. I would have loved to see her different take on security. I think she would have been
Mhm.
strong and silent. You know what I mean? And I think she bosses every role she's in.
Yeah.
If she would have gotten it, I would have supported her.
Yeah, faith in the
Yeah.
actress and faith in the writers that they would create a space for her. But Ryan, I think you're right. I think with the limited availability of her character, it's tough to put her in that senior role, especially in a show that for the whole first season, I mean, Tasha is always in the thick of things because
Mhm.
Mhm.
that's sort of what they set up on the Enterprise D is that there's a security chief and they're involved in a lot of the decision making and they stand on the big thing behind Picard. Who's going to stand on the big thing? Someone's got to stand on that big thing.
There's a lot of jokes running through my head, and none of them should come out of my mouth right now. But JJ, you said something very controversial when you said that Worf is not the best security officer. Can you please tell us who you think is?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
So who would be okay? So we have Odo, head of security on Deep Space Nine. We have
Reed, Tuvok,
head of security on Voyager. We have Malcolm, head of security on the NX-01. We have Fax, head of
STAC.
security on the Cerritos.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm curious what some of the folks in the chat think. Who is the best chief of security? If
And
not,
I think Gwen is chief of security too. Gwen is the chief of security on the Protostar, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
And Picard, I don't know if they really had one. That was kind of just a group of rovers, a rovering band.
It almost felt like, Seven at times filled that role, given her her history as a ranger.
And then on Discovery, it was Lieutenant Nan for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And before that, I think it was
Yeah.
Commander Landry too, at the very
Right.
beginning.
Portland. Yes.
Yeah, because she
What about
came with
Strange
loved
New
her.
Worlds?
Lon.
Lon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lon's pretty good. Yeah.
she is pretty good. at
She's pretty good.
security.
I don't know. I'm such an Odo fan.
Same.
So of all the people that but I love Tuvok too. I don't know. But okay, so how do you rate a head of security on a Federation ship?
Oh, Shax. Can't forget Shax.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Love him.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, we got him.
Is it to try to stop security issues from happening in the first place, or when they inevitably do happen, because it's a ship, how fast you can shut them down? I don't know.
I think Worf just seemed like he embodied not just the physicality, because that's also sometimes important. You want your security officer to be intimidating, like when you're going on an away mission, but it doesn't need to be the chief of security. It could just be the biggest security person you have. So that's not terribly important, but he seemed like he just had that mentality. He was just a fighter that wanted to fight. He wasn't like paternal, which you might also want a security person that like somebody that feels responsible for everybody on the ship and wants to protect everybody, kind of like a Tuvok might be.
Yeah.
And Odo.
Yeah, poor Alexander. He didn't even care about his own kid, let alone everybody else's kid.
Sorry, Alexander.
That's like
Michael Eddington too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Eddington
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
probably
that's
the
interesting.
best.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I think what I liked about DS9's take on security with Odo is that there was an investigative factor that came in along with Odo,
Totally.
where you felt like you were, it was like an Agatha Christie novel or something.
Yeah.
And Worf was more, and you're absolutely right, like he was formidable, but as we were saying before, he would tend to run at the problem, and where Odo would he would think things out ahead of time and see if he can figure out And I think, I don't know, maybe the best head of security is somewhere in between, folks that can run at both speeds. Of course, Odo can turn into liquid jelly, and
yeah, and he's got some strength in him.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
can stop turbo lifts.
That's true.
That was
doors.
so cool.
And open doors.
Hide in plain sight. I mean, when they made that security officer a shapeshifter, I feel like that made so many story possibilities possible for Deep Space Nine, and then they tied it into the Dominion War. It was a really good call. I think it was wonderful to see.
And we would have never gotten that rat actor.
Yeah.
On Deep Space Nine. Look, everybody. So War Dog in the live chat and Dave Gregory both simultaneously say something to the effect of Shax is the most paternal because he's Papa Bear, right?
Yes.
And that's a very good point. Shax is kind of in the model of Worf, like the shoot first, ask questions later, go out and die with honor, that kind of thing. I feel like Odo was a little bit more strategic and investigative, like Tuvok, right? They're very similar,
but far from paternal, definitely. Like not,
But I think La'an is a mix of both. She is investigative, but she also goes and runs at a problem as well. I think she's a mix of both.
Yeah, and that might, does that put her in the running for the top of that list? Yeah, maybe.
Ooh, we should have a poll.
Ooh.
It's basically Worf.
Best
We know
security.
it's
Ryan will not have any further discussion on this.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's Worf.
Insubordination.
You know who the best security officer is? Zachary Quinto, in my opinion. What do you think?
I'm gonna Zach, did he pay you to say this?
Amazing.
He's always trying to
Yes, he paid me with his incredible career of performances every time I see him.
He's always just trolling me. It's like he's obsessed. Anyway, Zach, I get it. Okay, I get it. We got to move on.
And he just pops into the chat.
He's just mad because he and I actually shared a scene together in the 2009 JJ Star Trek movie. We shared a scene. He had just had punched Kirk out, and he was coming down the hall, and he was seething, and I was playing a Starfleet officer. I was coming down like a Jeffries tube. I was a red shirt. And
and you stole the scene, and he got too angry that we forgot that he was there.
I thought it was just me when I saw it. I was like, is it just me, or am I like the star of this show all of a sudden? And there was a moment where Zach was kind of like, can we get this guy out of here? And he was saying something about that the way my shoulder was on screen, just the corner of my shoulder was really just too good.
I remember the screening I went to during that scene, everyone in the audience was confused. Because as soon as they saw that shoulder, they're like, there's our protagonist. Wait, why are we still following Spock? What's going on?
They couldn't he couldn't handle the tricep that was bulging out of the uniform.
And I heard that people actually stood and cheered for a while, not like through the whole thing, but for a while.
No, in my theater, and somehow I don't know where people got the graduation hats, but they threw them in the air during that scene. They were handing them out at the door.
Like Worf's saucer section.
That's they had the Guinan hats. A lot of people were injured. They're very big, heavy hats when they threw them in the air in celebration.
With sharp edges. Yep.
I like that right now. Andre's got this face of like, dude, you guys have been beating this joke for like 6 minutes, man. We gotta move on.
He's just listening to me.
I'm just visualizing it all in my head. Hats getting thrown and people getting cut on the way down, and Worf with a big old hat. That's hilarious.
Right. Well, I want to bring up this article also from screenrant.com because it's a really cool one. It's a little relevant for recent episodes, no spoilers, but it's a little relevant. This will not have any spoilers, don't worry. So everybody that hasn't seen any of the recent episodes, there are no spoilers here, but it's just kind of relevant. And it is entitled 11 Star Trek history making 11 history making Starfleet Academy cadets. Well, I guess I shouldn't have pulled this up because now you're seeing 3 of them right there. So 11, and I believe they are in order. So we've got Elnor, we've got Nog, obviously, we've got Saru. So I guess these are just like not necessarily people that we haven't seen all of them as cadets. We just know that they were history making, like the first Kelpian and the first Ferengi and the first Romulan. You guys have any other guesses as to who's going to be on this list out of the 11?
Worf.
That's a pretty good guess. I would agree with that one. Mordock. I'm guessing Mordock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Melissa says no. She already knows he's not there.
I read the article.
Damn, Mordock's a good one though.
Really?
He's
He's not on
first
there?
Bensite.
He is a good one, but he's not on there. There's some surprising ones.
Maybe well, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone if they haven't seen certain episodes, but
Well,
how
I
about
can say yes, Worf is on the list.
okay. There's also the possibility for Wesley Crusher.
Yes, he's
There's
on
also
the list.
There's also the possibility for his fellow Nova Squadron friends like Nick Locarno and Cito Jaxa, and the fourth person that nobody remembers her name, and then the fifth guy that died.
Yes, he does mention Nick Locarno. He doesn't mention Cito.
Okay.
But
Do you have any, Andre? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of any more. I'm not, maybe the Kazenti. I don't know. I mean, but there may be other Kazentis in Starfleet. I'm looking in the chat to see what.
Oh, what about
thinking.
Eric's from the animated series? Eric's.
It's a good one.
He should have been on there.
The three are. Oh man, I am striking out here. The live chat is saying Data. The Trek reviewer says Data. That's a great one. Lucia says
that's a good one.
Spock
Data,
as well.
yeah.
Spock is not on there. But Data is. And I'll give you a hint. This might be an obvious hint, but the captain of everything.
Michael Burnham.
Baudet.
She's the captain now. she we saw her moving up.
The captain of everything. Well, I guess I was gonna say the captain that started everything off, but that's not true because that would be Pike. But
Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Oh, he was the youngest.
He was the first Starfleet Academy cadet to beat the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh, of course.
Smart.
Yes.
Smart.
Right. That is smart.
And there was a Vulcan on the list, but I'm not going to tell you which one.
Well, it's not T'Pol. She never went.
No.
Tuvok.
Valeris.
No. Yes. Valeris.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
First Vulcan to graduate top of her class.
Oh, nice.
The Trek reviewer says Maress, also from the animated series.
No.
Oh, Tendi. Tendi was the first Orion.
There are no animated ones on the list.
Ooh.
And one of them is a group of cadets.
Is it the group
Red
from
Squad
Discovery?
Yes, Red Squad.
Yeah.
Red Squad. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you, JJ. The group from Discovery. There was like an Orion and a tall Tellarite, a Tollarite.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we get them all?
Yeah. Red Squad is kind of iffy for me because it says that they're the first cadets assigned their own starship, but they weren't really assigned their own starship. They got it by default.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, there's actually one more that we missed on Strange New Worlds. And it is Una Chin Riley, the first Illyrian.
Illyrian.
Yep, she is on that list. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Valeris, Data, Worf, Wesley Crusher, Nick Locarno, Nog, Red Squad. Oh, so Nog's on there twice, technically.
Yeah.
And Elnor. Wow, that's a really cool. That is a very cool and creative list. I like that. Good list by John Orchiola.
Nice.
Oh, so before we go, we have a few things, a few items. One thing is I was kind of hoping, maybe we don't have time for it, but I was hoping we could give the best advice that we got, the best like professional advice or scholastic advice. While you guys are thinking about that, I will say that the 7th rule will be making a gigantic announcement in just a little over a week. So that is Monday, the 6th. Monday, November 6th. Huge announcement. Everybody mark your calendars for that day. What do you think, Melissa? Did you get great advice one time? Or many?
Yeah, I guess it's the one that I get told often, and it's been the hardest one to follow. It's to trust your own voice and trust your own contribution to what you're pursuing, and don't give up.
And don't pull on Superman's cape. Tug on Superman's cape. That's the line. What about you, JJ? Did you have a cool professor or somebody in the industry that was like, here's my advice. Stay inside the lines.
Never think outside the box. Productivity is key. Not that, but yeah, I think I've had a couple of really meaningful pieces of advice throughout my life. And, one is, it's just kind of almost common sense, but I think it's something that's important to keep in the front of your mind, especially now in our world where things can be frustrating and hard, is just try to be kind to people in the industry that you're working in. It can be tough, when you burn a bridge, and sometimes you can burn a bridge after you've gone over it. And sometimes if you're not careful, you can burn a bridge before you've even crossed it. And so, I find that just being kind and receptive and certainly, especially if you are, talking with people who might not be as far along in the same career as you, to, keep in mind, like, we all start somewhere, and that everybody deserves respect and consideration, and time is valuable, but making connections with people is valuable too. So just generally being kind and don't be a jerk, which seems like
oh man,
common sense. I know it's tough. It's tough, but it's just so fun. And another good piece of advice that I got was that there are lots of different paths to the goal that you're trying to get to, and don't feel like if something isn't working out, or if your gut is just telling you that this isn't maybe the right time or the right trajectory, don't be afraid to go a different way. So kind of like trust your instincts in a way, but you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again forever. Your career can have a lot of different phases. It can have, it can wear a lot of different faces, and just sort of read the moment and read yourself, and don't box yourself in to just one path. So
that advice came from Fleetwood Mac, right? You could go your own way.
Yes, it's just on repeat.
They also remind you to just don't stop thinking about tomorrow,
Yeah. And don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing.
It's journey. But actually, I did think that song was a total lie, that Fleetwood Mac song. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. Tomorrow will never be here, you guys. This is a lie that I know to be this. Look, don't let anybody tell you. This is my piece of advice. Don't let anybody tell you that tomorrow will soon be here.
There you go.
Or when they go, it'll be tomorrow before you know it. No, it won't. It'll never be tomorrow. They're lying to you. We can't even perceive now. All we can perceive is what just happened. Like just right that little split second. The thing that we're seeing. Yeah, we're looking at history. The thing that we're actually looking at right now just happened. We're too late. The light reflected. Anyway, what about you?
Baby? It's too late.
It's so true, though. Life is weird.
I think Zachary Quinto co-wrote that song for them. Is that?
He's a manipulator.
Oh.
He's a problem. What about you, Andre? Do you ever get some fun advice that still rings true to this day?
So I got one of the best pieces of advice from somebody I consider my creative mentor, and you know him. His name's Tim Russ. And he looked at my Star Trek art, and he looked at what I was trying to do in some of the fan fiction world and stuff. And he sat me down. He was like, Andre, do your own thing. Make your own universe. Build your own story. And a couple of years ago, and that resonated with me. And I was, he just really kind of like spoke into me and just encouraged me to go my own direction. And it was really cool getting that piece of advice from him. And then also to just like, I think JJ, what you said about like, be kind, especially to somebody who is not as far along in the career as they are. Like that is, if you've made it, that is the most important thing that you can do to somebody else who's inspired. Like you don't know how you'll touch or benefit their lives, and just pass on that kindness. Say an encouraging word, be friendly. That could put a spark into somebody to do a big thing. But if you never get that spark and somebody isn't kind to you, make your own stage, be your own person, and shine your light. Show the world what you've got, because it doesn't matter. As long as you love what you're working on and what you're doing, that's all that matters. And people are going to see that and appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. I wrote down a couple myself. One was not told to me, but I just read it. It was Confucius, who said, and I quote, let me pull up this quote, "Only the wisest and stupidest of men do not change." And I remember thinking about that a long while back. And I was like, I know I'm not the wisest man, and I'm sure I'm not the stupidest man, I bet. And so I was like, I guess that means I got to change. I got to stop being such a punk. So that was one that helped me make decisions in life a couple times, important decisions. But another one was from Drew Carey. He didn't tell me this directly, but I saw his book at the Samuel French shop, which is where you get like theater plays and things like that. A lot of actors would go there. And he had something called the Drew Carey method, which was, that's when he was coming up as a stand-up comedian. He was just like, hey, just be everybody's best friend. That's the Drew Carey method. And that's how he just kind of kept working, which is very similar to a few others. Number one is a screenwriting teacher of mine, Professor Dan Watanabe, who echoed something I think we've heard a bunch of times, which is showing up is 90% of the job, or showing up on time is 90% of the job. And that's so true, because that's what takes the most effort. Preparing the night before, waking up early, sitting in traffic, picking what t-shirt you want to wear, all those. Once you're there, the rest is just doing stuff. But that's the tough part. But I had a professor, a music business professor, Professor Richard Kahn, great dude. He had a really interesting question he asked the class, which was, he said, hey, he was a musician, pianist, and, he would be in charge of bands, and he would get band gigs to go play at the Four Seasons or go play a weekend in Vegas. And he says, okay, I get a gig in Vegas as a band leader. They say, I want you and your band, whatever band, a bass player and a drummer, to play this weekend at Caesar's Palace, for example. And he says, okay, cool. And they say it's for this amount of money. So he opens up his book of bass players, and he's got a list of 100 bass players that he's played with. Who does he call? And obviously we all like, oh, the best one. We all think we're so smooth. You pick the best one. He's like, nah, I picked the guy that I want to spend the weekend with. They're all great bass players or they wouldn't be in this book. They're in this book because they know what they're doing. But I picked the guy that I want to hang out with this weekend. And I think that was a really good piece of advice, because that's kind of, I think, that how life and business is a lot of times. You pick the person that you want to work with. So I would say be the person that people want to work with. Maybe even more importantly, don't be the person that people don't want to work with. That was another one that was interesting to me. And one of these days, maybe next week, we can move into what is the best Star Trek advice? You know, like when Picard says it is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That is not failure in his life. But there have been a lot of quotes like that we think of in times of trouble or in times of decision making, I think. All right. Well, let's talk about that. I feel like all inspired all of a sudden. We're like, you notice how we like relax? Now we're like, yeah, life is chill. Life's pretty good. Kelsey Davis mentions Geddy Lee in the live chat. I don't know why, but that is the bass player and vocalist for Rush, if I remember correctly. Incredible band, incredible musicians, 3-piece. Not my style of music, though.
A good piece of acting advice once, or in an acting class, but it's from Uta Hagen. She was lived way back when. But acting is living truthfully in imaginary circumstances, and that kind of applies to a lot of different aspects of life. So yeah, I like that one.
I like that a lot. That's great.
Yeah, that's a great one. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's talk about this week ahead. Shout out to my music business teacher, Professor Richard Kahn. He's probably not watching, though. Good guy. He also said, let's do lunch. That's a good way to do it. Just good way to handle business. Go do lunch with somebody, you know, face to face. Anyway, Kelsey Davis, best bass player to hire, Geddy Lee. One of the best ever. Yeah, definitely. All right. So this week, where are we? We're Friday. So yesterday on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we had our full review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 9 with director Brandon Williams. He directed the episode. That was the third and final episode that he has directed this season, and he joined us on the Seventh Rule. The full episode is available. Go check that out. Then on Sunday, what do we have on Sunday? On the Seventh Rule YouTube channel at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the first segment review of Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Up the Long Ladder. There's a lot of weird genetic talk. So we had our friend, evolutionary biologist and geneticist, Dr. Muhammad Noor, joining us for that one. So check that out. That is Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. And then on Monday, go right back to that Seventh Rule YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got our full review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 14, The Icarus Factor. I believe that's the one with the Anbo Jitsu. So you can't miss that, because we actually do it. We practice. Sirach and I, we really, man, it was fun.
So fun.
And then on, by the way, everybody, the Lappy Awards Legacy Division voting for the finalists ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have not voted for those, go to the Virtual TrekCon Facebook group, put in your votes, because those are closing in just a few hours. And then on the main viewer, Tuesday, that's right here on this channel, Virtual TrekCon, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Live, we'll talk about all the news of the week, and we will then announce the next group of categories that we will be voting on for the Lappy Awards. It will be related to current stuff. The ones we just did were legacy, with like Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, all those. This is going to be current stuff. We want to make sure to not do any of the current stuff until after all current episodes are in. Lower Decks final episode is next Thursday. So voting for that one will happen a little later, but we will be announcing those on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then on Wednesday, we move boldly into, I said that correctly, not boldly move, but move boldly, on the Falling Tower YouTube channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. It will be November 1st, and we are moving into 80s sitcom month. 80s sitcom month. So, of course, we're reviewing in honor of the late, great Suzanne Summers, Three's Company, with myself, Dr. Muhammad Noor, actors Rico E. Anderson and Darth Shuey. We all get together with Janet, Chrissy, Mr. and Mrs. Roper, and Jack the Tripper, everybody's favorite. So that's Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the Falling Tower YouTube channel. That's it for us. Melissa Longo, can you tell everybody where they can find you online?
At Melissa Longo, Malissa, on social media, and the introvertedrepublic.com under Walking Art Made by Melissa is where you can find my wares, and the Walking Art Made by Melissa on Patreon. I have been writing a story and it's growing. So come read with me.
With you. It's a reading party.
It's a reading party. I should do that.
What about you, JJ? Where can people find you and your incredible freaking art online?
That's very kind. All the normal places at JJ Lendl. You can also find my work at jjlendl.com. I have a shop on there if you'd like to pick up some prints or some apparel. Hey, there's a website. Check out the shop. I've got some Trek stuff. I've got stuff for Star Wars, X-Files, Quantum Leap. If you've been watching the new Quantum Leap, I've been doing a poster each week inspired by episodes of the show. Those are some comics I have done for Star Trek and IDW. I've got some more covers coming out soon, guys, for
nice
for some IDW comics. So keep an eye out for those. I always share those on my social media, and you can, if you want to see some exclusive behind the scenes work, get some monthly rewards, both digital and physical, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/JJLendl.
This is gorgeous. Everybody make sure you get that JJLENDL. No second E in there.
You don't need it. You just need the one E.
It's JJ Lend.
It's JJ, the word end with an L on either side.
Okay. What about you, Andre Sci-Fi Guy Cotman, who, by the way, is the most responsible and communicative in the live chat we've ever seen. This guy is like leading the live chat in this show.
Awesome.
Live chat's the best. Great, folks. You can find me at artstation.com /sci-fi Dre. That's my art. Got my art posted there. I'm also on Twitter at SaxmanDre and Instagram at SaxMaster. But check out my art.
Give us the link one more time.
Yep, artstation.com sci-fi Dre is the link.
Got it. Sci-fi Dre. He's got some stuff coming soon, everybody. You just wait. When he does, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, Ryan's seen it. I got so much more now too. Ships galore. You guys cannot wait to share with you what I'm working on.
He's always
an original sci-fi project.
Yeah, he's always saying like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a picture, but don't show anybody." And I'm like, "Okay."
When you say don't show anybody,
yeah, don't tell anybody.
Man, I can show some people, right?
Okay.
Can't wait
And then I'm like,
soon.
wow, it's beautiful. But it really is good stuff. So, and
Thank
everybody,
you
you
so
can
much.
find me online at Ryan TG Husk. That is Twitter at Ryan TG Husk, or just Falling Tower, the Seventh Rule, or Virtual TrekCon on your favorite social media, but especially right here on YouTube. Boy, oh boy, War Dog Heim, Dave Gregory, Glenn, thank you all so much for playing with us. JR Poole, Don, Ranger Power, Fran, Linda, John, May, and everybody. Robert Kaiser out in Austria that needs to get his ass to bed. Jesus, poor guy. It's 2:30 in the morning. Lucia out in Brazil. We see all of you. What's up, Chris Marshall, Bob D, Kelsey? Thanks for hanging out with us. And I think that's it. Go vote. Tune in on Tuesday to find out what's up next. It's going to be nuts. That's it. Have a chill weekend. You've earned it.
Mm.